I've been doing some more work to the rear of the trailer. I finally decided what I wanted to do for rear lights, and as I hope you can see, I've done what at least the English call French in. So I've sunk them into the trailer body to get a flat and straight surface where I will have lights that are quite similar to the lights that I have on the Worcester. And I've also fabricated a place where I can put my registration sign and number eventually, hopefully. I'm not proud and I'm not really satisfied with the shut lines for the rear hatch, but it's really not possible unless I start it all over again, and I'm not going to do that. So it's not really possible to make it much better. We'll see eventually how much of that I can hide when I start putting on the Bondo. So I'm hoping that it's going to look fairly decent in the end. I've also finished up what I think I was talking about, where I had gas dampers that weren't working out. So now I do. I had to send away to a company in Denmark to get dampers that had a strength in the dampening that was right for my fairly light hatch. I think it weighs around 20 kilos. So now it's working. So I have a hatch that I think I can trust. It has a decent height. Now I'm a short man, but so like I said before, I probably will have some kind of warnings or indicators hanging from the corners of the hatch. But apart from the shut lines not being really what I wanted, it comes down and fits fairly well. This also means that, kind of strange feeling, it means that I've probably done almost all the metal work that I intend to do. So from here on, I'm going to grind it down some more, and then I'm going to start laying on Bondo and see if I can make the shape a little better and a little less in different parts that doesn't always come together perfectly. And of course then there's all on the inside, but that's a different story. I've started to put filler on the trailer. I know I've been saying Bondo because the generic term filler has slipped my mind, and of course Bondo is a trade name from the States, I think. But I started to put filler on it, and as you can see, it's not perfect, and I'm hoping that the filler will eventually hide some of my imperfections and the imperfect work that I've done. Basically in the front and in most places, the filler will be hiding my welds and where the panels come together, and hopefully it will look uniform once I've done this and once I get paint on it. We'll see. And as you can see, same thing in the rear. There's going to have to be a bit of Bondo for the shut lines, for the hatch and the doors eventually. But I'm starting to smooth out the valleys that I have in quite a few of the places where I welded it together. So I've been putting on more filler, sanding, putting on more filler again, sanding again. Rather tedious actually. Thing is, I was never really satisfied with the body work I did on the Worcester. I can see my imperfections and where I didn't get the shapes quite the way I wanted them to. And of course there is quite a bit of work on the trailer to make it look smooth, hopefully, and to have the curves going the way I want them. I also learned one thing. Once again, these are not tutorials, but in my view, it doesn't really work to use machines, sanding machines. Maybe if you had a sanding machine that looks something like this, it might work. But I've seen people do it, and I think I've come to the same conclusion. You need to have blocks of some kind. Here in Sweden, they're expensive and quite hard to find. My solution was I've been using kind of a board, and the same kind of material that you sleep on when you're out camping. I also have one that flexes a bit that I can use for more rounder shapes, and I have a couple of ones that are stiffer. They're just, sanding blocks, but they have to give a little. And of course what you want to do is try to make it become uniform, and you have to, at least I have to do it by hand. So I'm getting a good amount of exercise, which is good, but I find it tedious. I don't know how well you can see, but I've been doing some work with shut lines as well. I've been doing some work trying to make the shut lines and the shapes around the hatch better and more uniform as well. It's looking better, not bad at all. I still have a kind of one or two more layers, or I'm going to actually put a little bit of spray filler on all of the trailer and sand it down so that I can find imperfections or hollow parts or things like that. I also wanted to show you something that was a lot more fun than just sanding and sanding. This is something that I haven't used or done before. Of course I need some kind of locks for the doors and for the hatch as well. So I went ahead and did what I needed to do for the doors. The English call this an escutcheon plate. I don't even know how you pronounce that, or something like that. But it's almost like a small toilet lid. So that covers my hole in a kind of a neat fashion, I think. And then they sold me this, which is kind of a square little thing, so that I can put this in here and I can open with that. Isn't that kind of neat? And then it just like that. There you go. So on the inside, it's much more conventional. On the inside, I have, hopefully you can see, just a lock like this. I've been trying to find stuff like this in the EU, and I haven't really managed. So I'm still buying stuff from England, like I used to before Brexit. And still they're my best place to find car builder stuff like this. But now it's much more expensive. They're adding customs and all kinds of stuff, and it takes longer, of course. So, well, to put it plainly, fuck Brexit. Shouldn't have said that, but I did anyhow. So, now I can close my doors. On to more sanding.